Hello and welcome to New England chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers series, On Track. In this episode, we'll be getting you on track with some of the regulatory work we've been doing around New England, as well as some of the events that have recently taken place and will be coming up in the near future. We'll kick things off with Muster in the Mountains. Wow, what a great weekend in the Catskills, with hundreds of passionate public landowners coming from around the East. First and foremost, huge thank you to our hosts, the New York chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and Kill Brewing. The location was beautiful, the food delicious, and the beer was amazing. New England was well represented with members from every state, and even our college clubs were there in force. Several of the North American BHA staff were also in attendance and were sharing their expertise, including State Policy Director Timothy Brass, Regional Manager Chris Hennessy, and Collegiate Coordinator Kylie Schumacher. BHA President and CEO Lan Tani was there, and he stoked the fires of all who were present. Make no mistake, the New England chapter of BHA was already on track to elevate our game this year, but after our weekend in Westkill, our already full buckets converted to barrels, and they are spilling over. Go fight win. A big thank you to registered Maine guide and chapter member Bob Duport. Bob was extremely generous and donated a fully guided trip that was part of a special auction at Muster to raise money for the new chapter coordinator position that will support New York and New England. Bob actually attended Muster, a stop on his way to guide in Montana, and he and the winner of the trip were planning a pretty amazing adventure. To learn more about the fishing and hunting services Bob offers, check out his website, westernmountainsflyfishing.com. One of the most talked about issues for hunters and anglers in the Bay State has been the proposed license fee increases. Price hikes, the first in 25 years, came as a result of agency taking steps to secure its financial future. Now, from the beginning, we've been working directly with Mass Wildlife officials and other stakeholders. In the most recent round of public hearings, we offered testimony in support of a phased-in approach that would raise prices over 5 years and ultimately get the agency to the level it needs to be in order to achieve financial solvency, while allowing hunters and anglers the time to prepare for increased expenses. Related to the issue, we've also been working on the legislative measures as an alternative funding mechanism, and we'll talk about that in another episode. In the first in-person event since the pandemic began, the Massachusetts team hosted a cleanup at Seabrook Salt Marsh WMA, which is located along the mouth of the Merrimack River. The event was proposed by member Patrick Saunders, who noticed a large buildup of trash on a recent walk along the Jeffrey H. Walker Salisbury Marsh overlook. 19 public landowners from 3 different states came out to lend a hand, and hundreds of pounds of trash were removed by boat from that spot. Big thank you to everyone who came out, and to Patrick for making it become a reality. Stay tuned for more in-person events in Massachusetts coming soon. The New Hampshire State Leadership Team recently submitted final comments on the Bear Brook State Park revised management plan. At nearly 10,000 acres, Bear Brook State Park is one of the largest state parks in New Hampshire. In 2019, the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources initiated a revision of the park's management plan, which was last updated in 1994. Members from BHA's New Hampshire State Leadership Team participated in several public meetings during the process. For a full rundown of our involvement at Bear Brook, visit the chapter page on the BHA website. In terms of events, New Hampshire has a 3D archery shoot on August 22nd at Chester Rod and Gun Club. To learn more, check out the BHA website for all the details and to register. The small but mighty Rhode Island team has been very busy on the regulatory front. Earlier this year, the team commented on rules and regulations governing the administration and enforcement of freshwater wetlands. The chapter was in support of streamlining the permitting process by centralizing it at the state level, also increasing protections on lakes and ponds, bogs, marshes, and vernal pools. Ultimately, both of these changes were accepted. Unfortunately, it wasn't all positive, as there were changes that reduced the buffer zone protecting streams, especially in suburban and urban areas. It's disheartening, especially when state agencies and NGOs have spent millions improving water quality and restoring habitat and native species in these areas. As we've discussed in earlier episodes, the Rhode Island team has been working on the issue of captive hunting of cervids legislatively, but have also been making strides at the regulatory level. Falling under the rules and regulations governing the importation, feeding, and baiting of cervids, BHA was the only organization present at a recent rulemaking hearing. A definite win was the inclusion of language that provided additional protection against the captive hunting of cervids by prohibiting the release of cervids to wild or on one's private property. This is an important win because it imposes an additional regulatory hurdle to captive hunting that did not exist previously. The chapter recently took a stand against a proposed aquaculture lease adjacent to the Sapawet Marsh WMA, one of the last places in Rhode Island where one can experience undeveloped coastal marsh habitat. Now, to be clear, we are not opposed to aquaculture as a practice, but rather to the siting of this proposed lease specifically. Upon reviewing the application and the associated documents, it's clear that the impacts to hunters' use of the area was not acknowledged, considered, or addressed at any point despite the lease's proposed location, which is less than 500 feet from the WMA's boundary and at the inlet of the marsh. We strongly urge you to take action and let decision makers know that hunter access and opportunity need to be considered with this application. To learn more and how to contact the people involved, see BHA's website. In May, BHA hosted a showing of 2,000 Mile Migration at Maine Brewing Company in Freeport. The event raised $1,800 to support BHA and its conservation efforts. Special thanks to Maine Beer Company for providing the venue and LL Bean for donating the items used in the drawing. Keep an eye on your email and New England BHA social media feeds for upcoming 5-stand clay shooting in Freeport and archery-focused field days in southern and central Maine. Vermont has had some great events recently, most notably a pint night they call Tall Tales and Pale Ales. The event was held along with the local chapter of NWTF and took place at Bare Naked Growler in Montpelier. Wondering how to find hunting spots for this fall? Want to get to know some of your public land? Want to figure out what this scouting stuff is all about? Well, join BHA for a fun, informal way to get ready for the fall hunting season and explore our public lands together. On July 31st and August 28th, the Vermont team will be hosting an event they call Scout and Hang Out. The first will take place at Snake Mountain WMA in Weybridge, and the second at Steam Mill Brook WMA in Hardwick. To register and get all the details, visit the respective event page on the BHA website. Well, that's it for now. Remember, you can learn more about all of these events and others on the BHA websites under events or under the chapter page. Thank you so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, get outside and enjoy some public lands. Take care.